Hello and welcome to Family Tech, where you get to be the tech expert of your home. Today is kind of a deviation of what I'm normally doing because I wanted to do a live Q&A and talk about um, something that I have been working on. So I'm really excited about this project, and it is going to be awesome, but I will announce it at the end of the live. So sorry, I'm going to have to leave you on the hook waiting to find out what that is. But we'll go ahead and jump right into the Q&A. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop that in the chat. You might not see chats from other people depending on which platform you're watching on, because I am streaming to multiple platforms at the exact same time. So that is uh, something to be aware of. You might not see other people's questions, but go ahead and ask your own questions because I really want to answer all of them. I do already have a few that came in the chat before I started streaming. So we'll go ahead and start there. And I'm just going to move a little bit because, uh, so like I said, I'm streaming on multiple platforms. So it looked a little off when I'm looking at it on Instagram. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. The first one is please explain to us more your experiences with bedtime blocking of screen time, which tools you've tried in the past, and what do you use now in your family? And maybe you have additional devices. So what I really like is using a Wi-Fi router that has built-in parental controls. So the Wi-Fi router that I use is called Griffin, Gryphon. I have a full video about the latest version of the Griffin on my YouTube channel. So definitely check that out if you're not watching on YouTube. So that really helps with shutting down the internet at bedtime because I can set up different user profiles and shut down the internet for my children's devices and keep it going for my own devices if I need to stay up a little later and do something. I generally shut down the internet for all users, though, at bedtime because I believe parents should abide by some of the same rules that you put for your kids. So there's really nothing going on that needs the internet at midnight. Um, or I mean, if you stay up till midnight, I'm an early to bed kind of person, so I don't want to stay up that late anyway. But if it's like 1, 2 a.m., just depending on whatever is right for your family. So like I said, I use the Griffin to shut down the internet. I also shut down the internet at bedtime through on device controls because the problem is you can really only shut down the internet to the devices through something like a Wi Fi router. There's also other devices. I have tried the Circle device. I did not like it. There's a whole post on my website about the Circle device. So if you wanted to check that out, go ahead. But not my favorite. It slowed down my network a lot. So I definitely don't recommend the Circle. There are other Wi-Fi routers that have parental controls built in, and I have tried several of them. I liked the settings of the Griffin. Full disclosure, I do work for Griffin, but I became an employee after I was a customer. So I liked the product before I even worked here. Um, Anyway, so Griffin, that's what I use. But like I said, it can only disable the internet to the device. It doesn't shut down the device. So if your child has downloaded videos or downloaded images or anything like that, or downloaded games that they want to play, they'd be able to play those all night long if the device itself isn't shut down because it's not actually using internet. So it's not going to be browsing the internet, but you still might be up all night. And that's like really my soapbox kind of thing is I really don't want kids to not get enough sleep. And they can do that just fine without the internet. So, shutting down the device itself is also important. So, I use built in controls for every device. So, if it's an Android phone, I will use Google Family Link to shut down the device at bedtime. If it is an Apple device, we don't have Apple devices here, but if it's an Apple device, I would use Screen Time to shut down the device at bedtime. And then for a Windows PC, I would use Microsoft Family Link or Microsoft Family Safety to shut down the computer at bedtime as well. So each device really does have their own built-in parental controls. The Nintendo Switch has their own. So I would enable the parental controls in each device to make sure those devices are also shut down at bedtime. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. That's what I use, a Wi-Fi router with parental controls, and then, and that shuts down the internet at bedtime, and then the built-in parental controls for each device. So, and again, if you guys have any questions, for sure, pop those in the chat, and I will get to those. So the next one I've got is Mark saying, "Do you have an opinion on Century PC?" I have no opinion on that. I have not used that. I actually haven't even heard of it. So I will look that up and check that out for you, Mark. But you have another question here, and that is, do you have an opinion on Custodio? And fortunately for you, I will be doing a full review of Custodio. It is planned for the end maybe of next month. So watch for that as that gets released. So I will be doing a review on Custodio. They are releasing some new features, and that is why I'm waiting on that review, because I want to make sure it is a complete review of Custodio. For those who aren't aware, Custodio is a third-party parental control application. So I will have opinions on it. I don't want to share my opinions yet until I am able to fully test the new features that are coming out. So I'm reserving opinion on that, but there will be a video coming out probably the end of October about Custodio. So thank you, Mark. And then we have another question over here. How do you not fall for the scam? Can I just delete the message? Oh, okay. So this is about uh I've talked recently about several different scams. So this one in particular is the Instagram scam. So Instagram, I have a video on a reel on Instagram that kind of goes through the whole process of, if your friend gets hacked, then your friend's account is actually sending you a message asking you for help, like they want your help to help them win a contest or help them launch a business or something like that. I call it the help me scam. And so this person is concerned that they got this message from their friend who has been hacked. Does that mean they are also compromised? No. You can ignore the message. These scammers on this particular scam are very relentless. Like, they will keep coming back at you. You can block the account, but if your friend ever gets access to their account again, they would still be blocked. So if you talk to your friend in person and they finally have gotten access back to their Instagram account, you can unblock the person at that point. But if you just go ahead and block them, then you won't get these relentless messages from the scammer. But you are safe to ignore those messages. And most scams, you are safe to ignore, delete, and move on. The only ones that I would really take action on is, and I haven't seen these in a while, but you get an email, and the email has your username and password, like a password that you have used on various online accounts, and it's telling you, when I saw this email, I'm sure the ask has changed over the years, but the first time I saw it, they were asking somebody for they were saying, "Hey, we know what you've been doing online. This is your password, and like if you don't give us money, we're going to share everything you've done." And this is kind of scary because you see your actual password in the email, like a password that you have used, and so that's why it's kind of like scary and like, oh, I want to react to it. Um, but so the only reason I would, react on that one, I wouldn't react to the scammer. I would do an audit of any of my online accounts. If any of them are using that password, I would change that password immediately. And so the best practice is to have a different password for every online account that you have. So if I'm logging into my bank, it's a different password than my email. If it's a different password than my Instagram. So that is best practice. So you should have a different password for each account that you log into. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel about kind of how to some best practices on creating passwords and like unique secure passwords. But the main thing I'm just going to touch on here is that length is strength. So the longer your password is, the stronger it is. So it's no longer the complexity. So you don't, I mean, most online accounts are still requiring this kind of complexity. So, unfortunately, they haven't gotten on board with this. Recommendation comes from NIST. NIST. It's a group that is like kind of security. They put out security advisories and things like that. Anyway, so NIST has decided. I don't know if that's the right word. That the um, the best practice is length instead of complexity. And so, symbols, uppercase, lowercase. So if the online account still requires all of this complexity, then you're still going to have to conform to that. But if they don't, the main thing to do is just have a really long password so you can have like three different words that are unrelated that mean something to you. So, I'm just gonna these aren't my passwords, but like I'm looking around here and I've got a Switch, the Nintendo Switch, I've got a book, and I have a controller or a watch there. So my password would be watch book switch or something like that. And that's a long password, but it's something easy to remember anyway. And again, if you guys have more questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. We've got another question here. Is Custodio your current go-to for now, by the way? It is not at the moment. Like I said, they have new features coming out, and that is when I am going to really dig into it and review it. So it is not. My go-to at the moment is still Bark and Boomerang, and then the built-in controls. And actually, Canopy is up there. So I've got Canopy high on my list as well. So like if I were to like narrow it down, I would say Bark and Canopy would be my favorites at the moment. But like I said, I will be doing that review of Custodio next month. So I reserve my right to change my mind on that. But that's what I'm currently using. And then another one I've got here is give that Google. It doesn't make sense. I think maybe given that Google is known for collecting user data. Sorry, I'm having a hard time with that sentence. Are you concerned about using Family Link? No, not at all. I am not concerned about using Family Link whatsoever. Family Link is awesome, but I also am a big fan of Google. Honestly, Mark, everybody's collecting your data. So, who do you want to have your data? It's everybody's got it, everybody's sharing it. So, I truly believe there is no privacy anymore. So, whether it's Apple that has your data or Google that has your data or Facebook that has your data, everybody's got your data. So no, I am not concerned about using Family Link whatsoever. And especially with Google Family Link, it's mainly controlling it. There's not very much monitoring going on with Google Family Link. So there would be very little data that it would have on my browsing history. Got a couple questions over here on Instagram. Are parents largely ignorant by choice of all the crap out there? Um, Faldi Falk Diddy? Um, eh, you know, a lot of parents are fairly ignorant by choice, and it's not that they. I mean, it's not necessarily they're choosing to be ignorant. It's that they're scared of technology and they don't understand technology, and so they are I'm not going to say unwilling, but are afraid to learn. Thinking like and having like a really fixed mindset that they can't learn technology. I mean, and I do the fixed mindset too. I can't learn music. I am a terrible singer. If you've ever heard me try to carry a note, it has not gone well. But I also refuse to learn how to sing. And so I'm not faulting anybody for that because, like, it just seems too overwhelming. Musical notes, they just don't compute in my head. Technology does. So, and there are people who are the opposite, musical stuff really comes easily for them. Technology does not. And so it's the fact that it does not come easily to them that makes them afraid to try to learn. And like I said, I'm not faulting anybody for that because I do that with music. I do that with cooking. I do that with crafts for sure. Oh, I don't have my flower handy. Um, my favorite example is this flower that I have. Oh, it's over there. So I have this flower, that's a paper flower, and I was at my friend's house, and she was, like, it was a crafting night for like, and I just went because it was a girls' night, and I just wanted to hang out with my friends. And my friend, like, who is huge crafter, like, just so smart with all of that. Um, like she printed out or like cut out these like, templates or whatever. Anyway, so she's like trying to teach us how to like fold this flower and I'm like just not smart with it and like, you know, I'm one of those infomercials just like "Arr!" And so she she just finally like takes the flower from me. She's like, "It's okay, Sarah. It's fine. It's fine." And she did it for me. So I get it. I really, really do get it. And so I totally understand. And that's just the way it is. So I don't fault anyone for being afraid to learn technology, but try and have that growth mindset and learn technology. Next question over here on Instagram, and maybe I'll try and bounce back and forth between the YouTube questions and the Instagram questions. And I'm also streaming on Twitch and Facebook. So, like I said, there's a lot out there. Can you recommend a video editing app that doesn't have sharing and chat or access to photos? Well, access to photos is going to be a tough one because it needs access to in order to pull that information in. So, access to photos is definitely I don't think you're going to find one that doesn't have access to photos. On the chat and sharing side of it, I believe CapCut does have that feature. I use CapCut. And I really like CapCut. Um, but let me just pop open CapCut for a second 'cause I don't use any of that like sharing feature. I mean, all of them will be able to share, but I think you're talking more about like inside the app itself to see like different people's sharing. Like here's an inbox. Yeah, I can chat with people here on CapCut. Yeah, and there's a profile and I can follow creators and things like that. Yeah, so CapCut does have those features. I would say somebody asked me about another one earlier this week, Zoomerang. Yeah. So Zoomerang looks like it does not have I looked at the and so this is a really good way to like test things. So if you're looking at the app in the Google Play Store, and you can do this on Apple too. If you look at the app, you can look like there's the E for everybody, right? So we've got E for everyone, and then there's like a little information icon. And so this information icon will give you more details about what is in there. And so one of them is usually users interact if it has the ability to interact with other users. This one just says in app purchases. So I would be aware of the in app purchases for this one and tobacco reference. So those are the only two things that I see wrong with this Zoomerang. The in app purchases, I would definitely be super careful of because your kids will definitely want to purchase because fun filters and things like that, and it's got some like AI generation tools for this Zoomerang. So I would definitely be aware of the in-app purchases for that. So okay, and then we will head over here to um to Trevor on okay. So we have like, do you have any thoughts, guidance regarding, and then, oops, typo. Do you have any thoughts, guidance regarding kids with additional special needs using tech? Yeah, that one's okay. Yeah, sorry, Trevor. I'm not quite understanding your question here. Drat as an add-on to everything going. I'm sorry. I don't understand your question. You can try again. We'll get to that question. In the meantime, we'll come back over here to Instagram. Um, for those of us born in the 80s, I am born pre 80s. I was born in the 70s, who have lived pre internet to now. How do we teach safe tech and stay on top of ever changing industry, especially artificial intelligence? Well, I love that you asked that because you just follow accounts like Family Tech, and I will help you. I'll hold your hand because I talk a lot about how to talk to your kids about different internet safety things. I actually have I have a podcast interview that's available on YouTube. And it's also just available on your favorite podcasting app. It's Family Tech Talk. And I have two episodes about artificial intelligence. One of them is just recently with Shelley Delane from Pinwheel, which is a kid safe smartphone. And so with Pinwheel, they have a new um, application called Pinwheel GPT, that's kind of like Chat GPT. So we talked a lot about um, yeah, sorry. We talked a lot about how to talk to your kids about artificial intelligence, especially like chatbots and things like that. About how, and then the other one I have was with my co-host of a different podcast that I'm on called the Not Null podcast. And we talked a lot about AI in general and talking to your kids about what's real and what's not, and things like that. So I would just say, follow accounts like Family Tech. You can follow the Not Null podcast, the Family Tech Talk podcast, and we will help you. I will help you teach safe technology and help you stay on top of the tech industry because I do tech news segments. I do tips and information and how to talk to your kids about all this technology stuff. So hopefully that answered your question. Haven't seen follow-up question yet from Trevor over here on YouTube. So we will go over here to Twitch, and I have a couple questions from here. We are switching our kids to Android. What devices should I get them? So, the difference really, like, and if you're coming from the iPhone world, you have iPhone, right? You have like the Pro or the SE, but like really it's all just like iPhone. And so when you're switching over to Android, there's so many options, there's so many vendors, and you can really get stuck with like a really crappy product. And that's one reason. And so similar to like PC and Mac. So people are saying that Mac is better than PC. Well, that's not necessarily true. If you buy a really high end PC, it will have the same specs and things like that. But people try to compare a $200 PC to a Mac, which has just a couple flavors, and and they're all flavored expensive. And so when you try and compare a $200 computer to a computer that's thousands of dollars, of course you're going to see differences, and you're going to think that the PC is terrible because it is terrible. It's a really, it doesn't have very good specs. So when you're trying to compare apples to oranges like that, apples, ha, then you're going to be disappointed. So similarly, when you're buying an Android device, there's tons of different vendors that you can choose from. I would stick with the standard vendors, which would be Samsung, Google, and Motorola. Those are the basically top three that you've got. OnePlus is actually coming up in the world too, but I would mainly stick with those three. I prefer Samsung. It does The Google Pixel is going to have a more like vanilla Android experience, like pure Android experience. The Samsung has kind of a user interface on top of it that kind of changes the way Android looks and feels a little bit. I really like the Samsung month calendar widget. So that's kind of one of my favorite things, and why I kind of keep going back to Samsung. And I also love the note. So like, my phone, I've got my little stylus, and like, so that's like my favorite thing ever. So that's why I keep kind of going to Samsung. There are different flavors of Samsung though. So the flagship Samsung devices are going to be the S series. And the S series, you can tell what year it came out by the number. So the S21 was 2021, the S22 is 2022, and so forth and so on. So if you're going to look at like an S21, that's going to be an older model, but it's going to be less expensive than, say, getting an S23. Um, there are also more budget-friendly models of Samsung, like the A series. So the A series, like the A50, the A51, and things like that, those are going to be cheaper devices for you and still work appropriately. So I would just get if you want the Samsung experience, stick in the Samsung environment. You can go with the Google Pixel, but really just get the most specs for the budget that you have. So you set a budget. I don't want to spend more than $500. And so then just see what you can get in that range. So specs you're going to look at is RAM. So, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of RAM, things like that. And then storage space. Storage space is somewhat important in phones because of photo taking and videos and things like that. But everything else is kind of cloud based. So you just need to know what kind of storage you want. And those are the main specs I would look at when looking at a phone. So just get as much as you can afford and go from there. All right, let's see what else we've got. Um, do you have any thoughts regarding Okay, we've got this question coming back up. Quiz additional special needs using tech as an extra add-on to everything else you recommend here. I Dyslexia, for example. I spoke with the autism dad on a podcast interview that was really good. And we talked a lot about kind of the different technologies that are available for special needs. But I would, every kid is different. So I would be hard pressed to give any like set rules. I would definitely keep more of an eye on their screen time, make sure to limit it a bit more. If they're showing signs of addiction or they're not using it appropriately or things like that. For dyslexia, I don't know of any tools off the top of my head. I would say probably Grammarly would be really good to add to their browser, just because it will help as they're typing with spell check and things like that. Because I mean, we got so used to spell check with our you know Microsoft Word, but everything's kind of online now. So you need something kind of in your browser in order to check your spelling on things. So I would maybe install Grammarly add on to the browser to help, especially with someone with dyslexia who is trying to um, uh, like do homework and things online. So let's see what else we've got here. Oh, Black Friday is coming up. Can you believe that? That is insane to me that the holidays are literally right around the corner. So Black Friday is coming up. Is there something we should be on the lookout for? I would say everything. Honestly, if you have anything online that you want to buy in the near future, that you can wait on, I would wait until Black Friday. Because just about every online retailer will have sales and like local retailers will also have sales. So anything that you are looking to buy, if it's for Christmas, if it's for just something that you need in your home, um, if you can wait, I would wait. Wait until Black Friday and you will be great. Okay, and then can you let me know where to find that podcast, please, Sarah? Um, my podcast is available on blah, blah, on all podcasting platforms. So, whether you're using Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, that's what I use. It's available on all of those. It's called Family Tech Talk. So if you just type in Family Tech Talk into your favorite podcast platform, like I said, whether it's Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, it's available on all of those. So the two, the few that I've already talked about in this live so far is the one with the autism dad. So honestly, I think the title of it is Special Needs and Technology. So look for that one, and you might have to scroll through because that interview I think was last year or so. So check out the one with autism dad. That was a great one. So titled like special needs or things like that. And then the other one is I was talking about AI. So there's two that talk about AI, and they're fairly recent. So the one from AI, I think, is a few months ago and is talking about like, are we ready for AI in the home? Is the title of that one. And then AI for kids, I think is the title of the next one. And that was just a couple weeks ago. So definitely check out those podcasts. We've got another question over here. Do you like the Mighty as a way to provide clean music? Let me see. I do like the Mighty. I've got one right here. So this is an MP3 player. I mean, it's basically a music player. And what's great about the Mighty is you can download specific playlists to this device, and then that's all they've got. Like the kid can only listen to the playlists that you have synced to this device. It can also sync with podcasts. So, and it can automatically update. Like, if you've got a weekly podcast or something that your kids like to listen to, you can get that set up on here. So, it does require some setup with a phone, and it does require a subscription to a music service. I believe the only two available right now is Spotify and Amazon Music. So, you would have to have a subscription to one of those two. And so then you just set it up on your phone, you download the Mighty app, and then you connect it to your streaming service, and then you can just sync, like it'll pull up all of your playlists, and then you check mark the different playlists or podcasts that you want to load onto the Mighty. And you can even connect this with Bluetooth headphones. So like I can actually and so this is what I do. Like this is actually not my kids, this is mine. Like so I can go for a run and I can just like clip this on myself. I mean, I don't usually clip it here because that would be annoying, but I can like clip it onto my pants or something like that and run with my Jaybirds. So I have, Bluetooth earbuds that I can connect with this. And so I can just go out for my run with and my Garmin watch actually can play music too. So I could just connect my headphones to the Garmin watch and then go out for my run. Anyway, but it is a really cool little tool to allow kids to listen to music without and so it could even connect to like a Bluetooth speaker. So if they have a Bluetooth speaker in their bedroom, they can play music just through this. So if you have like a Bluetooth speaker that you want them to be able to listen to music as they go to bed or something like that, they don't have to have their phone in their room with them. They can use something like this. So yeah, I do love the Mighty. I actually have a full review of the Mighty on my YouTube channel. So you might want to check that one out since I know you're over here on Instagram. But um, yeah. So on my YouTube channel, Family Tech. If you're on YouTube, my Instagram is Family Tech. Twitch, again, Family Tech. Facebook, Family Tech. I'm Family Tech everywhere. So all right, we'll just take a few more questions. Again, if you have any questions, we've got another one over here. What specific device do you recommend for a middle schooler to take to and from school? Specific brands, Chromebook. So honestly, our school is a I'm just gonna take a quick excuse me. Our school gives out Chromebooks as a one-to-one school, so they give every student a Chromebook. Um, and so, my kids really don't have I mean, they have a choice, but yeah, that's what they take to and from school, but it's required by the school. I would say if the school doesn't provide them like a one-to-one Chromebook that they take home with them, I don't necessarily think that I would send a middle schooler with a Chromebook, because they usually have ones in class that they will use, and having their own device, the teacher wouldn't be able to monitor that device or things like that. So I would be reluctant to send a Chromebook with my child. But if it's kind of like our school that has the one-to-one Chromebooks, I would definitely use those. But if they need something at home and you're looking to buy your own Chromebook, I recommend, and I do recommend Chromebooks, especially for a middle schooler. I wouldn't say to give them like a full on laptop or anything yet. A Chromebook works just fine. And Chromebooks can be use Google Family Link, which I love. I mean, Microsoft also has the Microsoft Family Safety, so you can shut down that device as well. But Chromebook just makes it really easy. And so I would definitely recommend a Chromebook for a middle schooler. And I would recommend Lenovo. Lenovo is my favorite brand. I have that. I mean, everybody in my house has a Lenovo. The computer that I am streaming on right now and that I use as my daily driver is a Lenovo ThinkPad X1. And I love it, love it, love it. It's my favorite thing ever. But Lenovo makes some really great Chromebooks as well that are fairly inexpensive. So I would on the Chromebooks, I would definitely check out RAM. And see and try and get the most RAM for the budget that you have. And then I would like go to the store to like feel it because some Chromebooks like are really plasticky and cheap feeling. And so I would just check those out. The Chromebook that my son has, that I got like kind of outside of their one-to-one uh school issued Chromebook, is also Lenovo. And actually, it was mainly I bought it so that I could do some testing and show some videos on how to set stuff up on a Chromebook. So, um, anyway, so Lenovo is my favorite brand of PC and Chromebook. So, all right, we've got and then like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. We will get to them. Um, this one, oh, this is a good one. I was asked to teach some kids at church about internet safety. Do you have any resources to recommend? Aside from Family Tech, I'm just kidding. My content is good for the parents. I mean, but like I encourage you to talk to your kids. So, anyway, but the one Let me just type this in here. This is a good website for kids to check out. So it is beinternetawesome.withgoogle.com. And it's got a bunch of games and it talks about scams and it talks about other things. So it's a really cool resource, and especially for the younger kids. So it's beinternetawesome.withgoogle.com. And honestly, if you just do a Google search for Be Internet Awesome, you'll find it. But that's a really good resource. And like I said, I mean, the games are kind of cheesy, but the little kids will like it, and they'll have a lot of fun with that. So and then another question, do you do one-on-one consultations? Unfortunately, at this time, I do not have the time for one-on-one consultations. I really wish I could, but I do have a full-time job and I do this on the side and I have a family. And so, and then I have like my own personal stuff that I like to do. I love working out and things like that. So sorry. Unfortunately, I do not have time for one-to-one consultations at this time. So I'm so sorry. Um, Another one. Do you have a review of our pact? I didn't see one on your list. This is another one. I don't have a full review. I do mention some of the features in my best parental controls YouTube video. My favorite part, and I'm planning on doing a full review of our pact. It's just not on my calendar quite yet. But what I really liked about our pact is its ability to control a iPhone a little bit better than some of the other ones that I've found, and the fact that it sends screenshots, so like random screenshots throughout the day. So your kid, it's like, you know, it's like when you're speeding in you're speeding on the road and you're like, "Oh, I hope today's not the day that I get pulled over." So it's not really gonna prevent your kid from, like, looking at stuff, but it may make them think twice, especially if they know that screenshots are being sent to their parent. Um what is your favorite gaming console for families? So we are a PlayStation house for the older kids, but I still just really love Nintendo. Nintendo has amazing family friendly games. The Switch is so much fun. There's a ton of really fun games on it. A new Mario game is coming out next month. My whole family is super excited about it. I am really liking this Illusion Island. It's a Mickey Mouse game. I'm playing as Minnie Mouse. So it's really fun as well. So the Switch is really just the best family friendly game. Um, okay. I'm not seeing, I think that's all the questions that I've gotten to. Again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to pop that in the chat. I'm going to wrap up though and talk about my exciting announcement. So, I have created a little while ago. I did a 10-day tech reset challenge in my Facebook group, and it was really awesome. I think everybody who did the challenge got a lot of benefit from it. So I created an e-workbook for the challenge. So you don't have to do it, in conjunction with anybody, but you can do it on your own, or you can do it with your family. And so I'm going to show you. This is the e-workbook. So it is the 10-day tech reset workbook. You can buy it on my page, familytech.biz. I will put a link to it in my profile for Instagram, so you can purchase that. But I am running a deal right now. If you sign up for a membership, either on Instagram or on YouTube, so that means you can join my channel either place, on YouTube or on Instagram, and it's $2.99 a month to be a member. I'm going to do more of these. I'm going to do a monthly Q&A for members only. Um, is good for teen and adult. I'm not sure what is good for teen and adult. Um, What was I talking about last? Um, oh, gaming console, the Switch. If you're talking about the Switch, yes, absolutely. My 17-year-old plays her Switch, and she's gonna be oh my gosh, she's gonna be 18 in like 3 days, so that's crazy. But she loves the Nintendo Switch. My 14-year-old loves the Nintendo Switch. I love my Nintendo Switch. It's, like, literally right here. Um, and my husband loves it, like, so yeah, teens, kids, everybody loves the Nintendo Switch. Anyway, back to so if you sign up for a membership on YouTube or on Instagram, oh, the 10-day tech reset. Yes, teens and adults. And actually in the ebook, I recommend, if you want to do this as a family, you can print out the challenge checklist. And so each member of the family can keep track of their own checklist. Um, yeah, so it is definitely good for the whole family. And what it is not, so it's not a what's it called? It's not a detox. So, I'm a huge fan of technology. I love tech. And so I am not going to be able to completely be away from technology. Not only is my job on the computer, but what I do with family tech, I'm trying to answer people's questions on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube and things like that. So I can't really detach from technology. And so this is more about being intentional about your technology use instead of like taking it away completely. And so hopefully by the end of the challenge, you are more intentional about your technology use and allowing you to get the benefits of technology instead of the detriment. So anyway, if you subscribe either here on YouTube or on Instagram, you can get the Tech Reset Challenge e-workbook totally for free. So you can go buy it if you want. It's only $4.99, or you can sign up for a subscription, $2.99 here on Instagram and on Family Text, $2.99 a month. And then again, I will do live Q&As. I'll also have some other fun stuff that I'm going to release just for members only. So today is the launch of my membership platform. So if you get in, you can get it for $2.99, or don't bother with it and just buy the Tech Reset Challenge. And that's on my website, familytech.biz. I will put a link to it again in the description of this video when we're done here. And then we'll go from there. And I'll also put a link in my bio for Instagram. So that's my exciting announcement. Hopefully, if you buy the challenge, or the 10-day tech reset, hopefully it is beneficial to you, and I'm excited to launch it. So anyway, we will go ahead and end it there unless anybody has any additional questions. I will go ahead and answer those. But yeah, otherwise, looks like I got all of them. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Next week, I have another great interview with somebody else. I forget who it is at this time. I book these interviews, months in advance. Um, so yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so join me next Thursday at 11 and check out next week's interview, or catch it later on my podcast, Family Tech Talk. So we will leave it there, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.